Welcome to my playhouse, and today we're gonna be trying to see if we can get further with updating this DAS that is down here. It's a Hewlett-Packard 70 drive DAS that's down there, and it's teasing me. And well, someone in the comments told me that there were new firmware available for that box, and so I downloaded that and found out that to install that firmware you need to have one of the HP controllers that is approved for firmware updating that DAS, and I have one of those here. I then, in the last video, wanted to import a hard drive, one of these Samsung drives. This one contains a Server 2016 installation, and someone in the comments totally misunderstood that. It's not because it's Server 2016 or Microsoft, and it's not because it's a Samsung disk. It's because the older Lenovo servers slash IBMs, well, that Windows Server installation was made on that. That means that the RAID card in that server created this drive, and so what I'm trying to do is to import the RAID configuration from the drive to the new server, and that failed. And apparently I haven't found anyone who said that, oh, this is compatible. So at the moment I am thinking that that is not compatible. I will not be able to just import a drive from an earlier server. It has nothing to do with the operating system, and it has nothing to do with the disk. But someone very wise in the comments wrote that I should just make a Windows to go, and I didn't know what that was, so I made one. Actually didn't. I had a student make this for me, so awesome. So we're gonna try and boot the server from this Windows to go stick here, which is also a Samsung, and focus on the stick. Yeah, Samsung, and it's a 32 gigabyte Samsung USB device here, tiny. We are gonna try and boot from that and see what happens. So let's cut directly to that. If this doesn't work, we have to figure something else out, you know. So this server is running Proxmox right there. So I'm gonna go tell it to shut down Proxmox so we can try and boot from this USB Windows to go thing. It should be a Windows 10 that is on there, an evaluation version. Good enough for me to try and firmware update the server, I hope. Okay, so very quickly to recap, the server is running Proxmox, and I have that here. It has one server on it, that one which I have here, and that server I have passed through a HBA that is connected to all of the drives in the Hewlett-Packard DAS, and we can see those drives here. I have put in some more drives since we left this, so at the moment there is 35 drives in the first tray, and there is, I guess there's 21 or 22 in the second one. That's more than 43, so some of the drives are missing, and that's why we are trying to firmware update this. These are all 2 terabyte drives, and it counts very nicely up to number 19. Then number 20 is missing, and there are some other numbers down here that are missing from 31 to 34. That's 3 drives missing right there. So right now we are seeing 43 drives. That is, of course, 86 terabytes, so it's not no small amount, but yeah, we want to do better than that, so I'm shutting this down. Okay, server is blinking happily over here, meaning that it's right now off. Screen says the same thing, so we're gonna power it on and we're gonna select boot devices, and hopefully the USB stick is gonna be one of them. It should be a very nice and fast USB 3 stick there, but booting from USB is always a bit slower, especially when you want to boot Windows, whereas it's kind of a big operating system in that regard. F12 entering boot devices, connecting to boot devices. I probably should have disconnected that DAS behind the server, but well, it could be interesting to see what it figures out. That was quick. Okay, so we have a USB 3 front. Awesome. Hit that. So we're gonna figure out if this awesome Lenovo X3650 Model 5, the Spitzenklasse from Lenovo, if that will run Windows 10. Why did you go into BIOS? I am wondering. Oh, legacy. Yeah, we'll pick legacy. And then we will USB go gadget. Just wait, initializing legacy devices. Thank you. Yay! Let's see if it works. But it shows the logo. Okay, awesome. We're up and running here. I have been eating in the meanwhile, so I think it took 5 minutes or something to boot. Let's see what we see here. Disk management. I am very curious if Windows 10 Enterprise evaluation here, if that sees my mini drives. Okay, it's definitely somewhat slower than I'm used to. Okay, it did eventually get here, and it is of course because there is quite a few drives to go over. Like it has found 40 drives. Wonder where number 38 is. So maybe it hasn't found 40 drives. Oh, there are big gaps here as well. You can see some of the ones that I have formatted, so that is kind of cool. Some of them has NTFS file systems on them. It sees a variety of different, but this works. We're gonna shut it down, and I'm gonna change the RAID controller, and we're gonna see if we can firmware update this. Okay, it's not blinking because I've turned it off and I have removed all the cables, so now we can ever so slightly slide it out and open sesame. I really need to go get that riser card for this server. I have found the one that I want. I just haven't gotten around to ordering it yet. So we're gonna take out this HBA. This is an LSI 92078E, and we're gonna put in the Hewlett-Packard card here instead. I put on this plastic thing too early. Now we need to remove that again. That's a shame. I'll do that. This is really a really nice RAID controller. My only problem with it was that I was not able to pass it through in Proxmox. So for that the HPA worked a lot better. And it would also be a shame to have a good RAID controller like that and just use it as an HPA. It's way overkill for that. So yeah, we've put that in. We're gonna close it up and we're gonna boot it again. I've powered the server again. It's blinking, so it's not powered on. I am actually gonna move this to the back because this is a USB 3 device and this is a black one, and I saw some blue ones on the back of the server, so this might be a USB 2, and on the back that's a USB 3. So if I can get it to boot from back there, it will be faster. Okay, it's when the Hewlett-Packard card is in there that it counts forever here. And I've made the mistake many times of thinking that it was dead, and then once I just let it run, and I think it counted up to about 600, and then it proceeded. But back then there was not as many drives in it. Now there's a lot more, so I hope it's still good. Okay, my mistake. It only counted to 300, which is 5 minutes. After that it continued to here. It now sees the USB at the rear. Awesome. So this time we're just gonna select legacy mode and go down to USB storage, hit that, and it's booting Windows again. Hopefully this time it will go faster. I didn't time it on the USB port over here, but well, USB 3 is considerably faster, and the USB stick is a USB 3. Okay, considerably faster. Way faster. This booted in no time compared to before. Barcode reader ready to go. Okay. Wouldn't know that I had one of those. So let's see here. Device manager. What do we see? What have it found? Okay, we have a lot of devices that it doesn't recognize. See, storage device. It does have this smart array controller, which is the Hewlett-Packard thing. So yeah, I'm gonna copy over the firmware update to this machine and see if we can just install it, or if we have to do something else. So the USB stick is right here, and I have used, or there is used 11.4 gigabytes out of those 32 gigabytes, or 30 gigabytes, more or less. So we're gonna make a little temporary directory in here. I always have one of those. And we're gonna take this Hewlett-Packard driver here, and we're gonna borrow that, copy that over there. Let's try and run that as administrator. See if, do you want to allow this application to make changes to your device? Hewlett-Packard D6000 6 gigabit SAS Disk Enclosure ROM flash component. That would be a great idea. Otherwise it's not gonna work. Let's install. The software is installed, but the installed version is newer than the version you are attempting to install. Okay. Proceeding installation will downgrade the software to an older version. Let's see, current version, software version. Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, I've just been surfing a little bit, and from what I can see, this version of the software should be the newest that I can find for the D6000. So I think we're just gonna hit it and see what happens. If we screw it, we screw it. This is always exciting. It's blinking down here, so it's doing something. It's very curious if the other one is gonna be blinking or if it has already done so. Okay. It completed the installations. Okay, cool. I think I'll try and switch the cables around the back and see if I need to firmware update the other one. Maybe it only does the first one. I'll try that. Okay, I switched the cables around the back, so now it should have the other disk tray as number 1 down here. So let's try and run this again. See what happens. And I'll run it as administrator. That's all. Hardware is not present. Okay, so probably because I switched the cables around, it needs a bit of a reboot. So we will try that. Okay, let's see. Okay, I switched the cables around and it says that the software is up to date. I'm guessing both controllers. Okay, so down here it's complaining, and that's because around here it's also complaining, and I'm guessing very much that this was the one that we updated and it doesn't like that. It's probably because it sees that they are not the same firmware version anymore. I've been surfing a little bit and I have become smarter on this. So as this sticker says, this is part of the Hewlett-Packard Store 1's product series, and as a Hewlett-Packard Store 1's D6000 enclosure, the newest firmware available is the 7.12 that was on here. As a Hewlett-Packard DAS, the newest firmware available is the 2.98 that we also put on here, and those two firmware versions are very similar. Except I am not able to find the 7.12 or 7.12 anywhere, so I'm not able to put that back on. So right now I'm hoping that if I update all 4 controllers here, that this will work out for me and it will stop complaining. I've moved the cable down to the controller beneath it, so we're gonna be upgrading that one. Here goes nothing. I might be totally wasting this. Well, we'll have to do something. And it lights up blue down here again, so it is firmware updating. So far so good. and it seems to only be firmware updating one controller at the time. And this software 2.98 is the latest firmware for the Disk Enclosure, and it's from the middle of 2016. Oops, it started blinking on the other one as well. Might actually be firmware updating both of them now. That would be nice. Then I just need to move the cable down over there to the bottom one and firmware update that one. This is really... I have no idea if this is going to be working after this. Good thing that we are not doing this in a production environment. They are totally empty, all of them, and nothing can go wrong. This one keeps blinking blue. Up here it says that the procedure was a success. A reboot is required to finish the installation. You may look at the log if desired. Okay, we will try and reboot. Okay, so I didn't really reboot the system. I rebooted the NAS box down here, and now it says that the current version is that one and that one. So one of them is up to date, the other one is not. So we're gonna install this again and hopefully get all 4 controllers up and running. And it seems that this one is blinking blue now, so that was probably also the one that was missing. So, it might be a little bit hard to understand what it is we are firmware updating. It's actually this device, which is when you pull out the drawer with all the discs in it, this has to follow. It has some very beefy connections right there, which might be why this is, when I'm losing, not having access to discs, that could be a bad connection in one of those connections. But you can actually, when you take this, you can pull this apart kind of, and you can see how it works like that. So it does that. So we could just check this connection, make sure that that is in good. It is. Up here there's another one. They don't come out by themselves, so that's probably okay. Yeah, but in here there is some electronics, and that's where the firmware is going, hopefully. This one is complaining, it's not happy with me, so yeah. And when you take it out, you kind of lock it. You pull this lever. Am I in view? I am in view. And it locks it into place like that. So yeah, I have to make sure that those connections are in good. It would be nice with some connection cleaning right there. That is a bloody lot of connections. It's still complaining here, but it stopped complaining over here. That is weird. All the drives was gone for a while, and I just ran this again, and it says that the software is all up to date. So awesome, we're not gonna do that again. Let's see how many drives we see. Yeah, this takes a while. Oh, it didn't take a while. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Less than before. Let's say that we have firmware updated this. I think we're done. Okay, we are up and running Proxmox again. It gave me a bit of a problem here because it didn't want to start up Proxmox. It gave me some kind of error, and I had to go around the back of the server and unplug the SAS connections that was in the server. I expect I could have unplugged them in the DAS as well, but yeah, as soon as I did that, it started up Proxmox okay. But we lost a lot of drives. Let's go see the computer. So here is Proxmox, and I have passed through the HBA in there. So let's minimize that. So this virtual machine has that available, and if we go in here, we can see that we are at 29 drives. Before it was at 28 drives, and I think it kind of slowly finds the drives. So, but it's counting up very slowly, and it seems like I have kind of mixed those two around. I've switched the connection, so I need to undo that because this is the one that I call enclosure 1, and that has a lot of drives. It's missing number 15, I have noticed. It has recognized number 20, which I was not able to get before. So yeah, it's kind of weird noticing drives right now. Right before it only had 2 drives here in this enclosure. I'm actually curious what will happen if I go out there and I switch around the connections. Be right back. I did that. Let's see how long it takes before something pops up here. Okay, that took a long time, but now it has switched it around. But it hasn't found any more drives, and it's the same drives missing here. Or has it? Oh, we're up to 30 drives now. So slowly it's recognizing more drives. Number 15 is still missing here. Oh, we have 4 drives here. So it has found all the drives it could in the first, which I have filled up completely. There are all 35 drives available in here. Right now number 15 is missing, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 is missing, 25 and 26 is missing, 28 is missing, 30, 31, 32 and 33 is missing. Yeah, this is a lot of fun, but we can actually see something important here. If we look at the enclosure, it now says that this is product reversion level 2.98. It did not say that before, it said 7.12. So same thing here, same level. So we managed to firmware update or downgrade, whatever grade. Okay, so I just spent half a day. This thing worked great, but I firmware changed it, let's say it that way, and it did absolutely nothing for the project. So well, it was an enjoyable waste of time, and we learned something. You can boot your, you can make a Windows to go. I'll try and leave a link in the description, see if I can ask my good student where he found the how to do this. I wasn't watching him. So yeah, this was a great idea. The firmware update? Not really, but yeah, we tried that. Someone suggested that in the comments, so thank you very much for suggesting that. It was a good suggestion. It's still a mystery, but thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.